Welcome to the Actions Cousins podcast. We are part of the Lag Network, and we give you that double dose of podcast need. We are your host,
Drewid,
and Breck, and we have a special guest today. Hopefully you guys maybe already heard him a little bit, but it is Dustin.
Yo.
Also known as Heroth. He's been streaming a little bit of Subnautica on Twitch. Please check him out, guys. Today is our game episode. We've already recorded our pop culture episode for the week. Hopefully you guys have already checked it out. If not, please do so. Dustin is also a guest on there, and he gives some really good insight on some topics that necessarily me and Drewid are not able to give. So it's really good listen. Please check it out. We're going to kind of get right into it and kind of the news and notes of around the gaming sphere. One of note that I saw that might interest Drewid over here is Devil May Cry 1 through 3 is getting an HD remaster. It's coming out for PC, PS4, and Xbox One.
Yeah, so they're re-releasing Devil May Cry 1 through 3 on, you said, PS4, Xbox One, and PC?
I believe. It might have a Switch, but I didn't see that if it did.
That'd be pretty cool if they did. Well, so a couple years back, they did re-release these games on the last gen of consoles, so PS3 and Xbox 360. So I think this is kind of that natural step that they're trying to get them on the current systems. I did see some news that there might be a reveal potentially of the next Devil May Cry game. So this might be kind of a precursor to that, get people excited for it again. So I don't know if I'll get it right away, but I'm pretty excited because I at least really like the third game. The first one's pretty solid, never beat that, or the second one. The second one's generally universally panned, but pretty good game series.
Okay. Dustin, have you ever played Devil May Cry?
I've played a little bit of 3 and 4, right? Or which one's the one with
Nero is
Nero.
4.
Yeah,
that was 4.
Played 4, which I bought on the 360 when they did or the Xbox One or whatever when they did the remastered version or whatever version of it. And yeah, I played it for a few hours and I'm like, oh yeah, this game was great, and then never went back into it again. So, that thing you do and you buy a game on sale and then you
tends to happen.
Play it for 10
bounce
minutes.
Off and kind of never go back. I understand that. I've played 4 as well. I've played a little bit longer than you. I think I got about 3/4 of the way through the game, and sadly then I bounced off. I got stuck and never went back.
Oh, I beat it when it originally was playing it, but
when you bought the remaster?
I bought it I don't know if it was remastered or if it was just on sale or something. I just remember buying it.
I think
again.
they did put it back out again, with an HD version.
Yeah, it's on PC because I saw you playing it, and then I got it on Steam for $10.
Because it's an enhanced version.
Right, and then. Yeah.
Well, I take back my statement. I made it less than you, but yeah, I did enjoy 4. I've played a little bit of 2 and 3, not 1. 3 I enjoyed. 2 I don't remember too much, so that should tell you something.
It had the 2 different characters you could play. It was just kind of weird.
One was the female, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I remember that a little bit more vaguely now. I've always enjoyed it, but it's just never been a game I could just really get beat and just kind of really sink into it. It's kind of like the God of War series, of all those kind of hack and slash crazy
adventure-y.
Yeah, that was the series that really kind of got me in, I could really sink my teeth into and actually sit down and beat, because otherwise I make about halfway, 3/4 of the way through, I get stuck on something, I get bored and never come back.
They're not very depthful games, those style of games for the most part. Their selling point is their combat, and the combat, it's hack and slashy. It's fun.
Yeah, I think
the gimmick wears off after a while.
I do like the concept of hell and heaven and shit like that. I think that's pretty cool.
Right.
But I think what caught me with God of War was it had a more, at least from my experience, it had a more linear storyline, and I actually cared to see where it went.
Also, mythology is always very interesting.
Yeah, and I've always really liked mythology. So,
God of War Norse hype.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, except for I like Norse gods, and I don't want to see him stab him in the face.
Too bad it's happening.
I'm just saying.
To be fair, that's kind of Norse mythology, though.
The Greek gods are all dicks, all right? The Norse gods, for the most part, seem like cool guys.
Kratos is the bringer of Ragnarok.
I'm just saying.
That's what's going to happen.
To be fair, you need to read a little bit more Norse mythology.
I know a lot of them are dicks, too. Okay, but
especially
comparatively.
Yeah, well, comparatively, maybe, but even still, and also, the whole Norse mythology believes in their gods dying, so it's not really such a foreign concept.
I know, but
so unlike the Greeks. But let's go. The next kind of remastered kind of same thing is a Spyro trilogy is getting a complete, not only remaster, but they're building it from the ground up. They can't actually do a little slap on some new paint type of deal. So
yeah, so this is kind of like with the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy that came out recently. The games were just so dated, you can't really just slap HD textures on old PS1 games and call it a remaster. So it really probably needed the whole remaster, do everything over. But pretty excited because like those were really good games. I never got around to really beating the third one, but I'd definitely play the first two again. Like,
I'm actually kind of surprised to hear this, considering their like Skylanders has busted. Like,
well,
Skylanders is completely gone.
I think that's why, because Skylanders, they use Spyro to boost Skylanders. So now that Skylander is kind of full, they're going back to Spyro because Spyro is everlasting and nostalgia.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's always a nostalgic craze where you can remaster anything from back in our
and
childhood.
Also, it's also like double nostalgia because if you got into Skylander as a kid with Spyro, you're now about 15, 16 years old. It's been that long. It's been about 5 or 6 years. So it's now time for you to be like, oh, this is where all this came from.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know if I'm a fan of, like, everything under the sun being remastered and updated for next gen, because it's like, why not just play the old one? But, I mean, this will be nice, especially for the Skylanders kids.
I understand.
Sequel would be nice for a lot of these games.
I understand that, but I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. I think they do this to gauge excitement to do a sequel. And also, too, it's just convenient. It's streamlined. This is where... you can get a digital copy on your PC, on your PS4. I'm actually more okay with all the remakes because it gives me an excuse to play old games without dusting off my old systems.
And the remakes are nice because, a lot of those old systems don't work anymore. I got a PS1 still, yeah, but I can't play anything on it because the freaking clasp is broken. It won't close anymore. I have to set something on top of it.
You gotta put that rubber band around.
Right, exactly. So it's not, it's not... that's the one thing I like about a lot of, the remakes, remasters. I can actually play these old games. And you can't just, again, like you're saying, you can't just slap HD textures. You can't just throw those games onto advanced systems because you try to boot that thing up on a brand new PC and it doesn't even work for some reason. Your PC's too powerful. It can't handle the game.
I mean, PC has like mods and stuff. You can kind of get around it, but it just kind of ends up wonky. But yeah, I mean...
And this is more for the casual audience. If you're a modder and you had to go around it, and this is not for you, you've probably already found your way to play these games.
You've already ROMmed it. It's
fine. You're fine. You've enjoyed this game 1,000 times over. But this is more for the guy who's 24, 25, or 30, in that range, who's worked his job, kind of forgot about Spyro, and he's like, oh crap, I might, I want to check this out. So...
I mean, let's look at it this way. I mean, let's be honest. At a base level, this is, hey, remember this old game series we made? Let's get more money out of it. But at the same time, like you guys were kind of saying, like, they're older games. They're harder to find anymore sometimes. Like, yeah, you can go out and find the old Crash Bandicoots and the old Spyros, and, like, they remastered a lot of the Final Fantasies and have been doing that. Those are rare games and hard to find. So
expensive.
And like Fire Emblem's another one we'll get into, and hopefully some of those are going to get re-released. But
I really hope.
Yeah,
I'm sure they will with the popularity now that they've become a
we can only hope. But yeah, so an HD like a remaster, recollection, whatever. That's a good excuse to like make it available to everyone again in a convenient way. So I'm okay with it. It's just like in the back of my head, I'm always like, I don't know, like I really, maybe I kind of want more original games, but
Oh look, another reboot. Oh
yeah,
look, another.
Exactly.
It's just like movies and TV shows.
I think that's the worry. People are afraid it'll become Hollywood, but I think there's enough, and I think also we're maybe just in a different time period. If you want original content, there's so many good indie games right now that are like, they're indie games, but they're like as beautiful and as strong as like top end like PS3.
This is true. Yeah.
So it's like, you're getting these AAA looking games that are indies. They're just, just slightly behind on specs, and it seems like the player base does not care, and they're supporting these games very heavily.
It's just, I don't want to see it be like, okay, the PS5, the Xbox 27 come out, like, okay, let's push everything up again. Let's remake and remaster everything one more time. And then keep that going.
Bethesda is the absolute worst with this. The amount of memes on the internet about Skyrim on my... I have Skyrim on my phone. I have Skyrim on...
The funny thing is that Skyrim also is getting released on Switch here soon, if not already out. And
I think it is out on Switch.
I think it is out.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's one of those things where it's like, they wouldn't do it unless it kept selling.
Oh,
yeah, like
it's Skyrim. I mean, come on.
Skyrim
Skyrim was like I think their biggest financial success.
And I'm okay with them keep pushing. I don't know. I don't mind them pushing it because eventually they're going to have diminish on their returns, or there's going to be some sort of technological advance that makes making a system irrelevant. Like we're going to eventually come to the point where I feel like software and hardware is as good as it's going to be, where you'll never have to get a new case again. You just get new software. Like. I feel like, I don't know how far that would be, but I feel like eventually that might be the case, so it's no longer be pushing it up, it'll just be getting better specs.
I don't know. We'll see.
Technology's weird.
I mean, if someone came out with a console that was built kind of like a PC, like, hey, every couple of years we put out a new graphics unit for it, so you just unplug, swap that in. and maybe once in like 10 years you have to swap out the whole base system, which is the motherboard essentially of a computer. Maybe that could be something happens. I should probably patent that idea.
Yeah.
But
It's probably
we'll
already,
edit that out. That's not
it's probably already patented, and they're just not doing it. Like, there's all sorts of ideas that
I
are
see those
patented.
Intel commercials. They got it. They got it.
yeah,
There's all sorts of ideas that are patented that they don't actually use because they just don't want someone else using it.
yeah, true. So, yeah.
Now this is going to be more. This next point is going to be more about you guys. I've never been a Monster Hunter player.
Oh yeah, Monster Hunter.
So
Awesome World.
so Monster Hunter World is coming out to huge success. It's considered by everyone who's played it, by casual and hardcore alike, the best in the series. To kind of put that in perspective, in the first 3 days in Japan, it sold 700,000 physical copies.
So the biggest surprise about that is this game was considered the American Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter World was released for the American audience. They did not expect it to succeed in Japan very well because it's on the weird console. It's not. It's on like Xbox was the original. Originally, it was only going to be on Xbox One, but they put it on both PS4 and Xbox One, and PC is going to be the other thing. Like, Japan loves their portable consoles, and Sony is like the only, like, there's Nintendo, yes, but like Sony is like the big, like, you know, the main,
the
like,
home console.
the home console,
Like,
right?
yeah, the Xbox has a very small footnote over
And
there.
PC is not, like, they don't care about PC games as much except for, like, you know, very specific titles.
Their MMOs, their RTSs.
Right.
Right.
So, like, it's surprising that it did so well in Japan because this game was not supposed to be like a Japanese success. Monster Hunter is very, very popular in Japan already. They've got like a theme park or some crap. I saw, like, I was reading an article that they have like a theme park already for Monster Hunter. Like, this game's already, they were trying to get an American audience because, to be honest, America is a big, big consumer of video games. Like, you need to be like,
Oh, yeah.
for games to be like universally successful, they have to have a pretty solid following in the States as well. So this was supposed to be the American game, and apparently it's working. Like, everything I've seen, I'm waiting for the PC release because me and my wife both play it, and we're not buying a second console so we can play together.
You're not
So
a real fan.
Don't start with me, all right? I really want to play it, but we're waiting until the PC release so we can buy 2 copies and be able to play.
I feel you, and that works out better for me because, like, I want to be able to play with you guys and some of our other friends and everything, but God, I've been so tempted over the last couple weeks to just pull the trigger and buy it.
Yeah, I know, especially since I've Ray has been telling me about it, and he has it and keeps talking about it on Facebook and all that crap. I'm just like,
Yeah.
no, but I'm waiting.
Like, everything I've seen about this game is just fantastic, amazing. Like, people are talking about how, like, everybody on their friends list on, like, PS4 or whatever is playing this game. I see all kinds of talk about it on, like, the gaming Reddits and everything. And it's just like, wow, it's almost like Fire Emblem when Awakening came out. It's like, hey, here's this thing that, like, me and some of my friends play that nobody, like, it's not really big. It's more of a cult following game. And suddenly it's huge.
Everywhere.
Like, it's going to be a franchise now. And I don't know what took them so long, because, like, this game I know was designed more in a way to be approachable by more casual audiences, because it's much easier to get armor, much easier to just jump in and out of quest. There's still a bit of issues with the systems on that, like having to, like, reload the game every time you want to join a friend's quest sometimes. That'll hopefully get patched out, but, like, overall it was built for a casual audience. They still, like, they made home release versions of the older Monster Hunter games. Like, there was a version of the 3rd generation one that was out on PS3, never came to America.
Nope.
Some of these could have come to America and probably been pretty successful.
There was Monster Hunter XX, I think, was one we didn't get.
Yeah,
like 2X or XX or something like that. Or
now, I might have been dreaming last night when I saw this, but I'm pretty sure I saw they put out Monster Hunter XX on the Switch.
I think I heard that's yes, they were talking about that. That's gonna be like the Switch version because Worlds isn't coming to Switch,
Right.
Or at least initially. It's only gonna be PC or PC, PS4, Xbone.
Yeah, which XX is like the improved version of Generations
Right.
that we had gotten.
Which I don't think we ever really gotten Generations. The last one, the one before that's one we played the hell out of. 4 Ultimate, I think.
Yeah, 4 Ultimate and 3 Ultimate we played a lot of.
Right.
But, man, there's such good games. Great to play with a friend. So really hyped for World. Like, definitely, at this point, I'm probably just going to wait it out and get it on Steam or PC whenever.
Fall, 3rd quarter is when we're supposed to get it.
Yeah, so
Painful wait.
hopefully it doesn't get delayed or anything, but we'll see. I have to. If it doesn't come, in the end, well, I'm gonna bite the bullet and get it on PS4.
Yeah, I just don't want to buy a second PS4. Okay.
I feel you. I feel you.
We'll see what you do.
Trade
so
out
you
your
get
Xbox One.
Well, I was gonna say what you do is
They
you
ain't cross compatible.
he said trade your Xbox One to get another PS4.
Oh.
But what you should do is yes, definitely trade your Xbox One, but
Hey, you.
buy the new, like, PS4 Pro.
There
That
you
one
go.
will be yours, and then you get her to get the other one.
Okay,
You
again,
get
I
the
don't
fancy
need
one.
2 PS4s.
What?
Well, no one needs a PS4 in general, so you might as well buy 2.
Why does your game look so much smoother? Don't worry about it. Just keep playing.
Just keep in it. Just
Keep
keep playing. Just
Yeah,
keep
my
playing.
wife's not. That's the thing. My wife's not technologically ignorant, so she'd know exactly what the hell was going on.
Blindfold her. Jeez.
That's
There's workarounds. The next one is a trailer I saw. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it just caught my eye, and I think kind of with the Devil May Cry thing, it really caught my eye. But it's called Biomutant, and it looks kind of like Devil May Cry mixed with furry rodents, and it looks really cool conceptually. I saw some reviews about the demo that it was kind of clunky, but like the trailer makes it look fantastic. You're basically this rodent, and that's like this battle-hardened looking mutant rodent, and he has giant swords and like gauntlets and guns, and he's just tearing things up, and he's fighting giant gorilla mutants, and he gets into mechs and shoot things. I mean, it looks fantastic. A really cool concept.
So we're just playing like, are we going back to Conker?
That's what
here?
I was
Is that
thinking
what we're
too.
about to do? Are we like,
Yeah, that's
Conker's Bad Fur Day?
so.
Like...
It's basically, but a little more. It's a little more stylistic than Conker's. Conker's had that very cartoon look to it. This is a little more stylistic.
So it's God of War Conquer.
Kind of.
Conker
Yeah.
of War?
Yeah, it seems to be a very. You can definitely tell what it's been inspired from, but it looks really cool. But like I said, from early access, it seems like it played kind of clunky, but people are hoping it gets fixed. So definitely check out that trailer if you haven't. And then kind of last thing, I really kind of want to hit this briefly because I really want to discuss this and getting kind of the meat and potatoes of this. But Kingdom Hearts 3 dropped a very in-depth trailer that showed multiple worlds, multiple gameplays, multiple enemies, and then also gave a pseudo release date. We actually have, instead of TBD, we actually have a 2018.
Yep. So probably gonna be late 2018.
Probably Christmas season.
Yeah.
would
Which,
be.
as long as it comes out this year, I'm fine. I'll wait.
How long has it been delayed? Like since 2?
Well,
It's not really
technically,
been
it's never been
delayed.
delayed.
I know, but like
They've
they
been
left
playing
it
it off.
very wide open for a sequel.
They've always
and
said in development until this latest trailer. They actually said 2018.
Yeah. So the trailer showed off. It was Toy Story and Monsters Inc. as the main like new worlds, right?
Yes,
They
and
showed
then they
Toy
showed,
Story the last trailer, didn't
and
they?
then they
Or-
very briefly. They
Okay.
actually showed like in depth. They also showed more of Tangled.
Oh, it was Tangled.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
they showed more of Tangled. They showed that you can have more than one guest ally in the Tangled world. That was something they showed, and they also showed that your Keyblades morph into different weapons.
Yeah, so the combat looked very similar to Birth by Sleep, Dream Drop Distance style, where it's very stylistic. There's a lot of like quick time actions to like flip around, and the different modes you unlock by doing certain combos and filling up the meter.
Yep.
It looks like it's gonna be all kinds of crazy, but I'm sure it's gonna be a blast.
Yeah, for sure. There was a rumor going around. It's been kind of debunked, but people are now not so sure if it's kind of cleanup control or not. But it was kind of sort of flibbed that they said that they're going to reveal the actual release date at E3 and actually have a true, like, pretty good trailer revealed at E3.
I feel like that's probably what's gonna happen, whether rumors or not. That makes a lot of sense.
Makes sense to me as well. I think I'm assuming there must be some sort of surprise with it. Maybe like a pre-order bonus or something they're going to reveal with it. They want to kind of keep it under wraps.
Pre-order bonuses.
But
Unlock Mickey's Keyblade.
Remember,
Maybe.
no pre-orders.
but that's kind of all I want to get into that before, because I really want to really kind of dive into that in more of our discussion section. So do you guys have any other kind of like quick notes or anything you guys kind of saw that you want to discuss real quick?
So quick notes for things. Like games coming out that we're excited for or anything like that?
Anything like that's great.
At the moment, no. I mean, like, it's mostly like a couple games that are out or games that aren't coming out for a hot minute that I'm excited for.
Waiting for more detailed type thing. Yeah.
Like the new God of War looks really cool. I still need to like play God of War 3 and like finish 2, but like just to like this is probably a game you can just jump in on and play.
I need to
Yeah,
play.
from what I understand,
any
you
of them.
can.
I played like one.
I mean, they're good
way
games.
back in the day.
Yeah.
Honestly, for you, some of the systems are kind of dated. 3, I think, would probably be worth your time. It's pretty polished at that point, but like
Haven't they released remastered versions of God of War?
Yeah, but the systems are still kind of dated.
They remastered on PS3 and PS4. The PS3 versions played pretty well of like 1 and 2. But yeah, I mean,
I'd watch cinematics of 1 and 2 and play 3 probably.
yeah.
that's just a lot of stuff to get through to just enjoy a game. I would probably just watch 3 is just like you can tell it's a combination of 6 or whatever 8 years it was to get to that point.
The old PSP one, Chains of Olympus, was pretty solid. I didn't play the second one that was Ghost of Sparta, I guess. But.
Yeah, I borrowed that from you and played that as well. That was a really fun game. Anything, Dustin? Do you kind of want quick hits or anything?
Not really. There's nothing. Like, I've been trying to avoid looking at stuff because trying not to buy more games as soon as they come out.
That's understandable. You guys have Steam wallets, and that means no money for the rest of your life. All right. Guys, we don't want you to forget that we are part of the LAG network. That is League of Apparent Gamers. Drewid, your co-host over here, he has a Let's Play right now. He is pulling through Dark Souls 1. As of now, he has 3 episodes posted. Hopefully by the time this is posted, he might have episodes 4 and 5, maybe even a 6th.
Hope so, yeah. That's the idea.
He's also another co-host of the Lagcast with Alt, another founder of the League of Apparent Gamers. Please check that out. They have good content. They go more in depth than what we do generally on gaming. They usually pick 1 or 2 topics and they really kind of dig into it and get into the kind of the nit and gritty, kind of get more into gameplay instead of kind of a general review. It's really good content, guys. I've listened to them. It's really good.
Yeah. This show is definitely, the Action Cast show, or Action Cousins, is more of the, let's talk a little bit about all the things that are going on right now. The Lagcast is more of, like you said, a couple topics. Let's talk really in depth about it and see how we feel about it. But
And we can get more in-depth on things if you guys would prefer that, but we kind of have, if you guys want more in-depth analysis, that's kind of what the Lagcast is for, and this is more for general discussions type of thing. But if, on a rare occasion, if there's something specifically you want us to discuss, we will. But generally, otherwise, we'll just kind of redirect those towards the Lagcast. We, of course, have Dustin, who goes under the name Heroth on Twitch, and he's been streaming Subnautica. You want to kind of talk about that just briefly?
I mean, I've only done 1 stream so far, and I do not remember what I'm doing in the game. I played it back in early release, and I stopped waiting for the full release, and I have a house. That's about the extent of what I've done so far. As long as it doesn't do the thing like last time where my escape pod went like 1,000 kilometers away from me somehow. Still have no idea how that happened, but yeah.
So that sounds like some pretty exciting stuff, guys. I don't know about you, but I'll be tuning in to see where if he can. Hopefully his house flies away again. I want to find it floating out in the middle of the ocean. Of course, guys, we do have a YouTube. I believe that is under League of Apparent Gamers.
yes.
We don't have a URL, but you can search it in the search bar and find us. We have a Twitter under Lagcast. Facebook as well. I believe that is also Lagcast. We do have our Twitch. As of right now, we don't have any content up, but we do, hopefully, within the next few months, we'll get some content up. Maybe if you guys have some suggestions or anything that you'd like us to do, let us know. We're also hoping maybe to get a Reddit subreddit going. That's kind of something a work in progress. We're hoping to maybe knock that out. That would be probably, again, another couple months. But that'd be easier for us to kind of get into more nit and gritty type stuff, combinations and such.
Talk with the fans. Saves us building a forum.
Right. So use pretty much our resources available to us. We're all 3 of us are very much Reddit users, so it'll be very easy for us. We're on there daily, and I would say sometimes even minutely. But yeah, so hopefully we'll get that knocked out, get an easy communication for you guys. Of course, any of all of our content, like, subscribe, favorite, any comment, whether it be positive or negative, let us know. We're open to criticism. We appreciate all the support, and we're going to kind of move on into our more in-depth discussion topics. I'm going to let our guest kind of narrate from here. He's been doing a pretty cool thing in a popular game franchise, and I'm going to kind of let him take it away.
So, started watching, Team 4-Star do their Nuzlocke challenges. Right?
Of course.
Always entertaining to watch those guys do stuff, right? But because of that, it got me inspired to go back and try Nuzlocks again. I tried them a long time ago, but never got into it. So my goal now is to Nuzlocke all the games. Not specifically all the games. My goal is to do 1 game of every generation. And I started with Emerald, which I know, Gen 3, weird place to start. But my idea was to start with the earliest release and move forward. That way, I don't go backwards in quality of life. That was my main problem, because when I first started, I think I did Diamond was the very first one I tried to do, and quality of life changes were just like I couldn't get into it, which is weird because I went from Ultra Moon, which I finished, and then I went back to Emerald, and I was perfectly fine with that. Whatever. So far I've beaten Emerald and Leaf Green, and I'm currently on Soul Silver, and Soul Silver is killing me. But it's fine. It's fine.
Also, literally the best Pokemon game, in my opinion, of the entire series.
First time I've ever played it, and I'm doing it as a Nuzlocke. And
So you poor summer child.
very painful. Like, I am really lacking on type coverage right now. Like,
Grind.
I am grindy, but the problem is I don't have type coverage. So, like, some of the Elite Four are going to be very painful.
And that's not even including if you do the second fight.
Oh, that's the plan. I'm planning on going through the whole game. Like,
yeah. So
for as far as I consider, the end of the Soul Silver Heart Gold or Silver Gold is Red. Red is the like final boss of that one, which he's like level like 70 or something ridiculous.
I think his highest level Pokemon is 80.
His Pikachu is pretty high up there.
Yeah.
So
don't tell me that.
Yeah.
So if you wipe completely, are you going to be starting over that game, or are you going to just move on to the next one?
I'll probably start over the game. Like, I want to beat every Nuzlocke. Like, that's my idea. I'll probably start that game completely over if I end up wiping. Very painful, because I've already got, like, 70 hours in this game.
Wow.
Oh, no, I've played a lot.
What gym are you on?
I'm actually about to do Elite Four. I'm currently grinding to do the freaking Lugia, and then I will be going to Victory Road, because I have to catch up somebody to be able to fight Lugia, because I have a fighting type, a water type, or water ground. I have Machamp, Quagsire, Dratini, or Dragonair now, Sudowoodo, Nidorino, and a Vulpix. That is my team right now.
Hey.
So, only 3 of those are actually
It could be worse.
So are you running traditional Nuzlocke rules?
I'm doing the Species Clause, of course, because the non-Species Clause is lame, because then I'd have like 50 Pidgeys. I don't want 50 Pidgeys.
Yeah.
I'm doing the Species Clause. I'm using the Super Soakers, which I don't care. I'm using items. The game gives me money. I spend that money on items. I'm using healing items. Anyone who doesn't want to use healing items is just a masochist.
In the traditional Nuzlocke, are you not supposed to use items?
That's like the traditional. There's no actual like official rules for a Nuzlocke.
Okay.
The main rules are you only catch one Pokemon in each area, and when a Pokemon faints, it dies. Those are the two those 2 rules are the universal rules.
Okay.
And there's clauses. Like there's the Species Clause where it's like, okay, if the Pokemon you run into you already have, you don't have to catch that one. You can keep going until you get something new. Gives you more variety. Gives you a chance to actually have some variety in your party. Because in the early routes, yeah, you're going to catch a bunch of Pidgeys. Every cave's going to be probably a Zubat. Like, you're not going to have any variety to your team, and that's just not that much fun, honestly. Playing with, I have 3 Crobats. That's my team now. That's not exciting. Really, it's not.
No.
But... And, some people say you shouldn't use items. I don't care about that, because if I couldn't use items...
Well, there's even, Pokemon Center clauses where it's like, oh, you can only use each Pokemon Center, 5 times. Or something
Oh, God, I've never seen that. No.
There's some crazy rules out there for the real masochist.
Then there's the Shiny Clause, which I will be abusing if it ever happens. That's if a Shiny Pokemon shows up, you can catch it. I won't use it in that Nuzlocke, but I'll catch it.
I actually had to enact on that clause on my only Nuzlocke challenge.
Screw you. I've never seen a shiny in the entire history of me playing Pokemon. I have never seen a single shiny.
That's sad.
I know. I've played a lot. I've never used any of the exploits or whatever that some of the games have built into them that helps you have a better chance of getting shinies. Like there's the SOS calls in Sun Moon, Ultra Sun Moon, and then there's the bushes that the chain bushes. I've never actually farmed a shiny, but you think. From playing Pokemon from the very original and only missing 3. I never played Leaf Green, I never played Soul Silver, and I never played Black and White 2. I never played...
Well, to be fair, Gen 1 didn't help you, so...
No, alright. I never played, those. But no, Leaf Green had
Well, I mean, the original
Right,
Gen 1
I'm just saying. So,
shinies.
Gen 2 had shinies, right?
Yep, they were introducing Golden
From Gen 2 to Gen 7, playing through every game, most of the games 2 or 3 times, never seen a single shiny. But, I probably wouldn't use the shiny if I caught it. I would probably just... do it through the whole process of transferring it up into one of the newer games.
And that's the whole point of the shiny clause. It's not so you can use it. It's so, okay, I got a shiny, I'm going to keep it somehow.
Right. So I'm doing Soul Silver now. My next game will probably be, it's going to be maybe Platinum. My wife has a copy of Platinum, but it's got a full game on it. So don't know if there's a way to get everything off of that so I can start a game on it. Don't know. I'm going to do probably Black and White 2. Black and White 2, because I've never played Black and White 2. I've played Black and White. I haven't played in a long time. I'll probably just go through a quick synopsis of the story and then play through 2.
Okay.
And then, of course, X. And then I plan on going through literally all the way to probably Moon. I probably won't do Ultra. I'll probably keep my Ultra game and move everything into my Ultra game eventually.
Yeah.
I'll probably stop at Moon. But
I think I might have sold it, but I might have a copy of Pearl if you want to play that.
I have Diamond.
Okay.
I have Diamond.
So you're set in
She's
case.
got Pearl and Platinum.
Okay.
I would rather do. It's
Platinum.
that's why I did Emerald instead of. I have Sapphire. She had Emerald. I did Emerald because it's
You'd rather play
the complete quote unquote like
right.
Because there's usually more. There's more to the third game than there is in the first two games typically.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. So that's my plan. Pretty much. I'm always playing Pokemon. Like, I'm sitting on the computer, me and the wife are playing Heroes of the Storm, and on my desk I have Pokemon. I'm just sitting there running back and forth. Oh, look, an encounter. Fight it. Kill it. Okay, because, you're grinding. And grinding in Pokemon, you're fighting things 20 levels beneath you sometimes, because there's just not a good spot to grind where you're at.
Yeah.
And you want to shoot yourself.
Yeah. Tends to happen, especially in Nuzlocke.
Yeah. Fun. Yeah. Recently lost my first starter, so I'm sad.
Oh. So, any honorable mentions of some Pokemon that just kind of pulled you through some Nuzlocke?
Right now, my Quagsire is MVP. Is literally the only Pokemon of my original group left because I just lost Matchstick. My Quilava, or never got to become Quilava. It never got to become a Typhlosion. It died as Quilava.
Oh,
yeah.
Poor Matchstick.
Matchstick died. But my Quagsire is just wrecking face. And my last game, I can't remember what I nicknamed it, but Exploud was a freaking monster. I never got to play with the Whisper line, but I've started to gain a love for like the normal types, like Snorlax.
They give you a lot of versatility.
Snorlax in Leaf Green was a monster. Exploud in Emerald was a monster. Haven't got any of the good normal types in my Soul Silver run. I've got a lot of normal types, but they're like the birds, and I've got like a Meowth and like Sentret, stuff that's not going to help me out a lot. Like none of the 3-steppers or like I have a Lickitung. Could be a solid tank if I get to the point where I need him, but I already have like.
Can you? Yeah, you should be able to evolve it.
I can get the awful Pokemon that is Licky. Probably one of the worst designed Pokemon ever, in my opinion.
I think it's got some. I mean, I'm not sure. Obviously, none of us here claim to be competitive Pokemon players, but I'm pretty sure it's got some pretty good stats.
He does. He's got very tanky stats. Most of the normal Pokemon that seem have a lot of tanky stats. I was kind of hoping to get an Ursaring. Always liked Ursaring. First Pokemon I run into, the only route you can catch Teddiursa was a Golem that or a Grappler that exploded. So it's fine. Yeah. Also, all the hate for Quagsire. Quagsire can go to hell. I lost 2 different Pokemon in my Leaf Green run to Quagsire's counters and Mirror Coats.
Well, he's making up for you.
No. You mean Wobbuffet.
Wobbuffet. Sorry, not Quagsire. Quagsire's a good one.
Yeah.
Quagsire's a good one. Wobbuffet. Wobbuffet's dumb. There's actually another clause that exists out there is the Wobbuffet clause. This Pokemon is so stupid and has so many like cheesy, cheap insta-kill moves that there's a clause out there some people follow that doesn't claim that it will claim a non-death from Wobbuffets. I don't know if you know this. Only thing Wobbuffets can learn are Destiny Bond, Counter, Mirko, and like I think Water Veil, the one that makes it so you can't get status effects. That's all he learns, and he has Shadow Tags you can't pull out. So he can literally
like the clingy girlfriend you can't pull out.
He's literally just. So yeah, there's a Wobbuffet clause out there. I didn't follow it, of course. As I said, I lost 2 different Pokemon to him. But yeah.
So Wobbuffet's kind of the Joker of the Pokemon universe.
Yeah, he's just a giant douchebag. If you ever run into a Wobbuffet, you just want to like. And doing a Nuzlocke, Wobbuffet can be. Sometimes it gets to the point. It's like, okay, well, I guess I'm losing this Pokemon because it's a crapshoot either whether he's going to use Counter or Mirror Coat, which are special and physical attack counters. And you just have to kind of guess, and you have to hope because it does double damage. Like it does like double the damage you dealt to him, or how those work. Yep. So
it's usually pretty tanky, so it usually can survive a hit.
Yep. So. Fun times.
All right, so a lot about Nuzlocke then. What's next?
I was going to kind of throw it over to you, Druid. What's something you've been playing, interesting you in the gaming realm?
So recently got back into WoW a little bit. They put out like a 7-day free game time thing. I'm playing that. Went ahead and turned some of my gold in the game into WoW tokens and used that to get money to buy the new expansion. So I've got that. Trying to unlock the allied races so that I can actually go back and play the new leveling experience. Basically one of the big changes they did recently, which some people are excited for, some people don't like it. All the old content now will scale up to a certain point. So like the starting zones now scale from like 1 to 20, and then after you get out of that initial starting zone, everything in the old world will scale from 1 to 60. And then you can choose to either go to Burning Crusade or Wrath of Lich King in either order. And
really?
Those scale,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, those scale between 60 and 80, and you could pretty much switch one between them. Same with Cataclysm, Mist, and Pandaria. Those go from 80 to 90, both of them. So you can kind of pick and choose which one you want to do.
Cool. I wish you could just skip Burning Crusade entirely.
You can. Just go to Wrath.
Go Wrath.
You can just go straight from Wrath to like Pandaria.
That's what you just said.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if you can get all 20 levels in one shot, but because they did change it to where I guess it takes a little longer to level now, you can still have heirlooms and stuff, but they wanted to make it to where, you know, you can actually go through a whole area, get through several areas, and not, like, kill the experience. Which that was the whole reason they did the scaling, because people would load up on all these heirlooms that made them get, like, double experience almost, and, alright, I did 3 quests, time to go to the next zone.
Well, that's what people wanted from heirlooms, though. The whole idea of heirlooms is you don't want to do the low content.
You don't, but it wasn't fun when, alright, I've got all these heirlooms, so yes, I'm leveling fast, but I do, like, you know, not even an hour's worth of content in this zone, and suddenly I need to go to the next zone. It kind of kills the flow of it. Now, you can level really fast, but
again,
you don't have to leave the zones.
That's the point of heirlooms. Like, you could, if you really wanted to, you could go through the whole experience again by just taking off even some of the heirlooms. You don't have to wear every heirloom. You don't have to get all that extra experience. The whole point of heirlooms was, I don't want to play the old content. I want to skip 99% of it. Let me just get to the max level, or to, like, you know, the comparable levels that, you know, where the content starts to matter.
Right.
That's the point of heirlooms. I love the idea of the scaling level areas. That means you can go through whatever areas in whatever order you want.
Pretty much.
Because there's an area, say like the level 20 to 25 areas, both of them you hate, can't stand. You don't have to do that anymore. You can just do whatever areas you want. Mm-hmm. I like that idea, but the idea of we wanted to make people slow down, that's a dumb idea in my opinion.
Well, it's less of, I mean, yeah, it's from what I understand, it does slow down a little bit from what it was before, but the whole idea is it's actually going to be a bit faster because you don't have to jump from zone to zone when, you know, you spend 30 minutes there and gain 7 levels,
right.
and suddenly nothing gives experience
If
there.
the area is leveling up with you, it does. That means you can go through the whole area without having to leave it, because, you know, unless you, like, blast past a level or something, or I don't know how it works.
It's like the whole idea is to streamline the experience. So, okay, I do my starting zone, I do this first area, I go to the next area, finish that whole area, go to the next area. It's less of just, alright, I did half the quest here, got to jump to the next area because nothing gives me experience.
The way you were
anymore.
saying it, I thought you were saying that they were trying to slow people down. It's like people don't want to be slowed down. They don't want to play the old content. That's why they're doing all these bonus XP items.
Now, like, in my case, I want to play the old content because, like, right now I don't have the new allied races for Alliance unlocked, so I'm going to be going through on the Horde ones.
Do you not have the Nightfall rep done?
No. Both the Alliance allied races you have to do the 2 new reps for.
I thought there was 3 for each side.
No, the third of each side comes out with the expansion, and you unlock them during the expansion.
I resubbed and have played like twice since I resubbed. So
I won't go too in depth on it. I know I've already talked for a hot minute on it, but basically, yeah, that's something I've been doing. Excited to go through and play like the Horde areas in the old world and really see that side of the game. Using these new allied races as a way to do that.
So are you gonna be wearing the heirlooms, or are you gonna be skipping the heirlooms?
I might wear the heirlooms. We'll see. It just depends on how fast it seems to make it.
Right.
But and I'm gonna be playing 2 characters, so I'll be able to like one for each of the new races. So I'll be able to kind of like, oh yeah, this is this area. I'll do it on this character and do it that way.
Okay.
Besides WoW, I mean, I've been playing Final Fantasy 14. They put out a new patch about a month ago now. New raid bosses are pretty fun. They're based on Final Fantasy 6 bosses, so like Kefka's the big one for anybody that's played Final Fantasy 6. I know you guys haven't really touched it.
Nope. But I've heard it's considered by most the best.
He's the clown that you've probably seen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know
on the internet before.
And he's in Dissidia, isn't he?
Yes, he's in Dissidia.
Right.
Yes.
So you fight him, and then the other 3 bosses are bosses from that game with like some obvious changes. Like one is it's called the Phantom Train. It's a giant train, and like has ghosts and spirits on it. So it's got some cool mechanics.
I just remember the GIF people share all the time of the dude suplexing the spirit train.
Yes. But yeah, which Final Fantasy 6, amazing game. I beat it about 2 months ago, and I want to go through it again at some point to really do everything. Like, so much more depth than I would have thought. Probably not my favorite Final Fantasy, but definitely up there. Like, probably top 5.
I don't care for the Final Fantasy style of combat. You know that. We've
I know.
I don't like the RPG, the classic, like, especially JRPG combat, where it's just smack, wait my turn, smack, wait my turn, smack.
Have you played 15?
I've not played 15. The last
15's
Final
probably
Fantasy,
probably up your alley.
The last Final Fantasy I played, I've only played,
or even like 12.
I've only played 9, 10, and what's the one with the Lightning and Fang?
That's 13.
Halfway through 13. I got to like the second disc and then stopped.
Oh, so you didn't even get to the actual game.
I never got to the actual game. Yeah, I played through the whole linear, you have no choice of what you're doing. I got through that and I just got burned out and I never actually went back and finished it.
But no, I understand. Like, you're more into, like, the actions, the real-time active games. Pokemon's kind of the exception.
Pokemon is the exception. Legend of Dragoon, always great.
Yeah.
That was one. But Pokemon's a little different, though. Pokemon's a little different. There's a lot more, like, there's, the whole switching now thing, the whole super effective, like, the whole, like, typing, like, chart. There's a lot more, to me, it feels like there's a lot more strategy to it than there is to your typical, like, basic RPG that I call whack-a-mole gameplay, where you just take turns hitting each other. Like, a lot of them, you literally
I think every Final Fantasy fan wants to smack you in the
Yes.
face.
They probably do.
I'm sorry. Not only Final
there's-
Fantasy fans, JRPG are screaming, "You don't know strategy."
I know
Pokemon-
there's techniques and strategies to it, but, like...
Pokemon has really basic strategy. Like, it has the kind of, like, rock, paper, scissors thing, but a lot of it's just, like, pick the best attack move and hope it kills them.
Competitive
Final
is where it's
Fantasy
actually
has a
got some
lot
strategy.
Final Fantasy has a lot of, like, okay, you need to use certain strategies to kill bosses. Like, okay, certain bosses, if you attack them while they're doing some phase change type thing, they'll fry you. Like, the very first boss of Final Fantasy VII, he's just this big mecha scorpion. If he raises his tail up and you attack him, he's just going to laser your entire party and probably kill you. The whole
I
so you
remember
have
that.
you have to watch for the strategies.
Stuff like that, though, there's a lot of cheeseball stupid things. Like Final Fantasy X. I think we all know the fight I'm talking about. When you fight the one douchebag whose name I can't even remember. Seymour after the Ronzo Mountain, and he's got that stupid cheeseball strategy where he zombies your person, revives your person, and does that to your team every 2 turns. And I looked up every strategy I could find to fight him. They're like, oh, you need this very specific attack, very specific set of defensive abilities. You have to have them all, like, you have to, and then it, like, literally the strategy was luck. It's like, okay, you have to have these specific abilities, but hopefully he doesn't cast it on this person, because then the strategy fails. And it's like,
I mean,
that kind of stuff.
That's a valid complaint.
That kind of stuff annoys the hell out of me. Like, you need to use a specific cheeseball strategy, or the enemy has a specific cheeseball strategy, that it's really just either over-level the hell out of it, or hopefully you're lucky. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like that. Like, that killed Final Fantasy X for me. I never actually finished that. I went back and replayed it again with, as a, 24-year-old at this point. I played, back in the day when it first came out. I was not that old. But I went back and played it when I was in Kentucky with Doug. Went back and played it, got to that fight, and stopped playing again. Because, again, even though I knew exactly what I was doing, I was, much more intelligent in playing the game. I had a lot more gaming knowledge. I went back and tried it again, and it just still was impossible to just fight. Like, you couldn't just go in there and play the game. You can't just play the game. You have to go and build up a specific strategy for this very required boss. If there's a side boss that has a very specific strategy you have to use, that's one thing. If you cannot continue the story unless you happen to build this exact way or go grind for 1,000 hours,
I mean,
drives me nuts.
I hear what you're saying, and like that was kind of a rough boss. I just don't remember having that much trouble with it. Like, I played through and beat the game 3 times now, and maybe the first time I had a lot of trouble, but like the other 2 times I did, I don't really remember struggling that much with it. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to rag on you, but it's like I don't remember it being particularly difficult. Maybe I got lucky.
Maybe the build you built was the build that was the way to count. There's a specific build that if you built that way, apparently made the fight very easy. Like, it was some sort of protect shell strategy or something. I don't remember. It's been at least 4 years since I played the second time.
I mean, a lot of Final Fantasy bosses do have some mechanics like that. Maybe not that cheesy where they'll do status effects on you that can drastically change how the fight will go for you. But if you just use certain accessories that nullify that, the fight becomes much easier. I can't think of any off the top of my head at the moment, but yeah, the Final Fantasy that really burned me the wrong way was Final Fantasy III. Their whole mechanic of difficulty was, okay, as you start fighting more and more stronger bosses, they just get more actions. So
they take more turns.
Yeah. So what they'll do is you'll have one of the final bosses they'll get 3 turns, so they'll just pick your weakest character like your healer and just bam, 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 they're dead. Just hit the same character 3 times. And
that's my strategy when I play Final Fantasy.
Well, in that game too, Phoenix Downs, which are the traditional Final Fantasy revive your character item, were not like you could just go to the store and buy them. They were a rare item, and so you had to have either a white mage character or some kind of magic user with revive, or use one of your very hard to find Phoenix Downs. So it was like, oh, this is great. Yeah, okay.
This is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is kind of where the culture clash comes with JRPGs. They very much love very hard mechanics, which turn to kind of be considered by us cheese
and,
mechanics.
And apparently they love grindy stuff.
They
like,
do.
Things
They love because like what they value is they value very much so time spent on a game.
Yes, absolutely.
That is something that they see. Like if I put 100 hours in that game, that was a good game. If I put 20 hours in the game, it was a mediocre game. If I put 50 hours in the game, it was a good game.
I have a similar concept. Like, my thing is like $1 an hour. If I get $1 an hour out of my game, I consider that game very much well money spent. But it has to be
Enjoyable
significant
hours.
Significant hours. I have to feel like I'm doing something for those hours.
This is just one of those culture things where they enjoy different things than us.
Well, yes.
But yes, I understand that complaint with JRPGs because I'm also like you in a lot of ways where it's hard for me to finish a JRPG. I love the stories of JRPGs.
Yeah.
They've got great stories.
I will absolutely watch Drewid over here play a JRPG for hours. Like when we were kids, that used to be like Drew all the time would be like, "Hey, do you want to turn?" I'm like, "Nope. I'm content watching this," and I would just enjoy the trip that he would go on. But when it came to myself, I very much struggled with the grind of it. I enjoy the simpler games like the Dragon Warriors, the Pokemon. I enjoy those more simpler titles. Even the earlier Final Fantasies, those are games like 1 and 2 are more my style.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I as a guy who's 15 is one of those ones that I'm kind of waiting for all the content to be released, but I'm definitely wanting to delve into that.
15's got more free. Like, is that the
it's
car?
More, yeah, it's
Yes.
more with
Yeah.
it's more. It seems to be kind of a mix between 13-esque and Kingdom Hearts, from what I'm seeing.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely an evolution of the series. They're trying to try new things to make the series interesting. The combat is action, basically. There's it's kind of like the interface of 13, but it's all happening at the same time, like real time. So it's a step in that direction. They're going away from the traditional RPG. They still make traditional RPG titles. I can't think of one of the recent ones, but I know they still work on handheld games and things like that, the little niche ones.
They just developed a mobile version of Final Fantasy 15 too that just came out.
The mobile version of Final Fantasy 15 is literally just every other mobile game.
Yeah.
I've actually heard it had a pretty good reception for a mobile game.
I mean, it's probably a good one, but that's all it is. So
it's literally like Clash of Clans or Clash of Vikings.
From what
or
I understand,
War of
it's
Vikings.
basically streamlined. So they get rid of all the extra stuff, and it's just streamlined.
Never mind. You're thinking of something else. Yeah. No. There's a different one now.
There's a different one.
It's basically like this chibi, cartoon style of very streamlined Final Fantasy 15.
It's like all side quests are removed, and you play straight story.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's another. They have another one that's literally just a mobile game.
That's the new Empire one, I think.
Yeah. It's like Final Fantasy 15 Empires or something like that. It's literally
I forget what this one's called, but this one's like the chibi. Yeah, they're chibi art styled, and it's literally just they took all the extra stuff out of the game and they streamlined it.
Right.
Yeah. Now, I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan. Obviously, I'm really excited for 13 or 15. The full collector's everything edition coming out on Steam, in I think it's March. Yeah. So
that'll probably be what eventually gets me into it, is you talking about it and seeing you play it.
Yeah.
That's always I always like to wait for the Game of the Year edition or the Masters edition
anymore. Yeah,
right, because so many games just have way too many DLC, way too many add-ons, way too much crap. It's like by the time you buy the whole game, you're spending $120. You're paying double the price, or I can wait a year and I can get the version for $60 again. But with everything else in it.
Well, do you remember a couple years back where Fallout 4 came out? It had a season pass for $25, and then 6 months later they realized, hey, we want to make a lot of content for this game, and they made more packs, but they were we're gonna go ahead and up the price to $50, and they told people in advance and gave them a couple months to still buy it at $25, but they were yeah, we're gonna go and raise the price.
I didn't know that. I didn't hear that.
So suddenly,
at least they kind of Season Pass used to be a great thing. What was it? Gears of War, I think, was one of the first games that had the Season Pass. Gears of War 2? 3? 3, I think?
I don't...
Maybe.
Where it was Season Pass was, you're getting every single DLC we launch on this. Every single one of them. And it was like 30, 25, 30 bucks, I think, whatever. And then Season Pass stopped meaning that. Season Pass meant you're getting, this first set of content.
Yeah.
And then there's Season Pass 2. Season Pass 5. It's the whole idea of the Season Pass has died. At this point, it's just, here's a bundle of 2 DLCs. And the next bundle will be the same price. It'll be 2 more DLCs.
No, you're definitely right. One that annoyed me, not so much for the price point and everything, but Dark Souls 3. It had a season pass right when it came out because they were going to release 2 DLC packs for it.
And then the third one was separate, wasn't it?
No, there wasn't a third one. But what happened was the first one came out 4 or 5 months later. The next one didn't come out for another 7 or 8 months, quite a while.
I still haven't finished the DLCs for.
I've beat the first of them. I haven't done the second one yet, but yeah, the point is like they made you pay that up front, and then they took forever to get it out.
Well, that's the whole thing where, especially in Reddit, there's a big subculture of gamers. There's a big sub-community of gamers that are like, stop pre-ordering. You're paying for content that doesn't exist yet. You're literally giving them money in the hopes that they will do something. Stop doing it. Season passes are one of those things. Season passes, you're pre-ordering DLC.
And any more collector's editions are just, hey, buy the game and the season pass all with one transaction, and here's an extra wallpaper or like keychain.
Or a cheap little $10 figure.
Yeah.
Right.
Or it's in a metal tin.
Yeah.
But it's cheap, super cheap aluminum.
Or you get an art book that's literally just...
Those rust, by the way. We've got an old Final Fantasy 12 of hers that is rusted out.
Oh, fun.
And I don't know if that's because her mom's house was like not very well.
I believe most of those tins are aluminum, so yeah, they rust out.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, wow, we got way off on a tangent there. So
that's fine. That's exactly what this whole thing's a lot.
But no, to summarize, like we had originally talked about, like what am I doing right now? Like I'm getting back into WoW. I've been playing Final Fantasy 14 with the new stuff coming out, and then I'm trying to chug through Persona 5, which is a meaty game. Like that's a good RPG that people can just get into. Like you would honestly probably like those.
I've watched people play Persona, and it seems kind of interesting. It's got like the whole the summon system, and was it 3? 3 is the one I get a giggle out of there. Yes, 3 is the best one ever because you just shoot yourself in the face.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Love it.
The games are like kind of a visual novel mixed with a traditional JRPG, but the combat is very fast. It's like, okay, you hit their weakness, you knock every enemy down, and you can do a big attack that just knocks everyone down.
Yep.
So
I've seen the games played, and they do seem kind of interesting. And they've got the super cheesy dating sim built into some of them.
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah. As I remember at 3 again.
There's romantic options, but yeah, some of them it's not forced.
Right. But it was entertaining.
And we discussed on our last podcast, or at least Drewid did, he talked about how there's consequences now for the romantic options, and I think that's a really cool feature, that if you can't just be the womanizer anymore.
Yeah, it was Persona 4 started that where, okay, yeah, you can romance everybody, but then at the very end of the game, you kind of have to pick one that you like is your real romance interest, and everyone else is like, oh, you lied to me, I'm so disappointed in you. Why would you do this? You're such a terrible person.
Well, okay, that would suck, because, and if I remember correctly, in 3, that's how you leveled up your Persona types, was through the romance options.
No. It's not, it's the social link system. The romance was kind of like, okay, you're interacting with this person,
okay.
And you
there's
can
an additional level to it.
Well, you can like basically there's 2 pathways. So you can do just the hey, we're friends. I really like. It's kind of like the friend zone thing,
right,
or you can pick the romance options, which is like what Persona 5 does. As you get to those very high ranks, you start to see romance options. But if you don't want to do them, you don't have to.
Okay. That's I was gonna say that would really suck if the only way to level everything up is romance everybody, but then you kind of
yeah. No, like I think 3 certain ones you had to romance, but there wasn't a penalty.
Okay.
4 it kind of gave you that choice.
It gave you the friend or romance option.
Yeah.
Okay, that's okay. That's fine then. I was gonna say that would be terrible. Like, oh, by the way, the only way you can max all your like types out is by romancing everybody, but we're gonna punish you for it.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing is, I just think it's a really cool option. It's just kind of like a real life consequence for a fun little game mechanic. I just think it's really cool. It's just like, oh wait, you strung all of us along? You're a douchebag.
Yeah, God, that takes me back to like playing Fable and being hung up on whether to kill the sister for the sword or not, and I did, and I was like, why did I do this? I'm such a terrible person.
Spoilers! Oh my God!
I always play the good guy. I feel like any well-written game, I don't like playing the bad guy. Like in Mass Effect, like the Mass Effect, like 1 and 2, I couldn't play the bad guy most of the time because I care about these characters. These characters feel like they had depth, and it's like.
One game I will say I loved playing bad guy was Knights of the Old Republic.
I never played as bad guy.
I love playing as a bad guy because it's just like I get to live out my fantasies being Darth Vader, and it's just like all options don't matter. You're dead.
Like
it was such a Granted, I played this game when I was, as you can tell, 14, and it looks like it because it was just like all consequences went through violence or mean insults, and it was a fun way to play.
All right, so yeah, that'll probably summarize kind of what I've been doing. Obviously, still playing Heroes, and there's stuff going on there, but
oh God, Heroes!
Fire Emblem Heroes.
Yeah,
there's 2 different Heroes games.
Yeah,
what's the other Heroes?
Heroes of Storm.
That's not a real game.
There's only Fire
Emblem
It's
Heroes.
probably one of the very few remaining successful MOBAs out there.
I would assume the big 2 would do.
It's a League of Legends clone.
Paragon died recently. I don't know if you heard that.
I was thinking of the actual big 2.
No, I'm saying Paragon was another action MOBA like Smite, and it died. Like,
Didn't it never take off?
It never really did, but like they were still releasing content until recently. They were still releasing characters, and they just
refunded everybody, right?
I think so. I think they refunded all the money when spent, and the Smite Reddit has a lot of what's the phrase I'm looking for? Refugees from Paragon showing up, saying like, "Hey, this seems like a similar style game. Like, what's some like I like this character in Paragon. What's like a character that I could play that'd be very kind of similar to him." Because like there's Dota and League of Legends, of course, that are of course the big two, and then Smite is like kind of the niche because it's the action MOBA, and then like Heroes is I'm just doing well, but Blizzard name like Blizzard could it's literally like Blizzard fan service. Hey, look at all these characters you love from these different games. They're fighting each other. There's that thing. That thing you talked about in the last episode, that history thing, where it's like, oh look, these historical famous people fighting each other.
Yeah.
I'd almost prefer a Smash style game than a MOBA, but I don't think I'll get my wish.
Hey, it might happen. Like, that's been their thing anymore. Like, let's just take all our old stuff and put it into a different kind of game. Or
let's just take a concept that is successful and make our version of it, like Overwatch. They saw the Team 4-Star model, or Team Fortress 2 model was very successful. They're like, hey, I bet we can make a game like that.
Or Hearthstone, let's make Magic with World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
I see eventually there being expansions into StarCraft, Overwatch, Diablo.
Man, that is something Overwatch is the one thing I wish they would do is do an actual comic, like expanded universe of Overwatch.
They have comics.
No, but they have like digital comics that are like kind of skimpy and
little one-shot things.
Yeah, like I'd like them to like full-on release like this is our Overwatch book, this is our Talon book.
I want to see a movie like at this point. Those cutscenes are just
so good.
Freaking the Reinhardt one.
If Blizzard said they're opening up Blizzard Studios, I'd be like, okay.
The Reinhardt one, holy crap, that was good.
Yeah, the launch trailer.
Yeah, the launch trailer was amazing. I honestly thought when I first saw the launch trailer,
the very first thing they dropped was that good, and like they've just.
I thought it was a Pixar movie or a Disney movie.
Right.
I really did. When I saw that first trailer, I was like, "Oh my god, Pixar! You're making a superhero? Another one? Oh my god, yes!"
Pixar teamed up with Blizzard. What?
Yeah, I was like, "What is this? This is amazing." Sadly, I've not played much of Overwatch. I've only put in maybe like 5 or 6 hours.
It's a solid game. It's not really like my cup of tea as much as others. Like I know you're really into it, Dustin.
I've been really enjoying it. Like it's a lot of fun. It's a very casual first-person shooter. Like. I like, I play a little bit of Call of Duty, not as much. I've been playing some Battlefield 1, I've been playing a little bit, but and Counter-Strike, of course, if you want really super intense, but it's a very casual shooter. It's a very casual shooter. It's very, it feels like kind of like, I don't know, I can't even think of a way to describe it, because it's very, there's all these superpowers and extra abilities, and it's got all these extra. It's kind of like a first-person shooter MOBA in that way, because you have all these different abilities that all these different characters have. You have to kind of balance your team out. Is the idea?
It's Super Smash Call of Legends.
Super Smash Call of Legends. There we go. It's a lot of fun, but you don't play much on PC, so me and you will never play together.
Right, I've only played on PS4.
You need to get it on PC. You need to get yourself a gaming PC finally.
Yeah, that requires money, and I have a child
on the way.
Yeah.
PCs are more important. We've discussed this.
Yeah, that's right.
Gaming is more important than everything.
If we want to do another episode, I have to convince my wife that that's the case. I don't know if that's what happens.
Support us on Patreon, and we can help buy Breck a gaming PC.
Yes, please, so I can do more content for you guys.
We have a Patreon
please.
now too, right? Let's go make it right now.
Yes, we have a Patreon.
We do have a Patreon.
You haven't mentioned that.
I have forgot to plug the Patreon, but you guys, if you've listened for the first 2 episodes and are dedicated, you know we have a Patreon. Luckily, Drewid over here remembers, and our first pledges will definitely go to my PC rig that is imaginary. Kidding, it will go to the content of the network.
It's going to go to the content of the network. If eventually down the line we have excess to buy you a gaming PC, or I have leftover parts from me upgrading, we'll get you something going.
Or we can even make a Frankenstein PC that if you donate, I'll let you pick my parts.
Yeah, if anybody wants to just mail Breck parts, we'll drop the address in the description. Just hit us up.
We'll call it the Frankenlag.
Frankenlag.
Put a big old sticker on the side. So, yeah.
The other one I really wanted to get into, which we kind of hit on in the quick hits, is I really just kind of want to go into what we saw in depth in that Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer.
Well, I haven't seen it yet.
So, and of course, Dustin, our guest here, is just going to try to not see things and not be...
Okay, I still need to go collect and play 2.8 or something, because I haven't played anything since, the advanced games. So you're 365 and a half.
So you're telling me in the in the 13 years since 2 has released, you've not played .1, .2, .3, .4, .5, .7, 5, 8, 9?
I played the two. I think I played the 2 advanced games, or 1 advanced game, and the first DS game. I think is what it was I played.
Yeah.
So that'd be
That's
Chain
all
of
I
Memories
played.
and
like 365.
358 divided by 2.
Yeah, that one. Those are the only 2 things I've played because I kind of fell off. I didn't have a functioning PSP because my first one got stolen, my second one got broken, and my first 2 got stolen, and my third one got broken. So it's like I just didn't have.
Life told him not to have another.
I have not. Yeah. Besides that, yeah, like I just didn't have the console to do it. And I didn't have a PS3 for a very long time, and there wasn't any on PS3.
There was. They did re-releases.
All right.
Yeah, they re-released everything but like Dream Drop Distance, and then the like new little 2.8.
I never owned a PS3. The only reason I got access to a PS3 is because my wife has a PS3, so we have a PS3 together now. But
buy the big collection for PS4 at some point. Play
that's
through
the plan. The 1.5. There's 1.5 and 2.5, and there's 2.8. And
Looks like you're gonna have at least 7 months to prepare. Close to.
Oh yes, but I have another 500 games to play.
Well, of course, that's all of our problems. But we need priorities.
You say that, but you're playing through Pokemon again.
The thing about playing with Pokemon is I could be doing lots of other things while playing Pokemon. Like, besides doing, like, the important battles, like gym leaders and like...
see, that screeching right there, those are the JRPG fans saying, see? Proved it!
Whenever I'm playing... When I'm doing the grind... Especially when I'm doing grinding, I can do 100 other things, and I can sit there and just... Yeah. And yes, Nuzlocke's equal grind. That's the whole point of Nuzlocke, is you have to grind constantly.
And that's why I can't... Like, I'll play them for a little bit, and I just, like, I'm like, oh, now I gotta grind.
You started your Nuzlocke when I started my... First, I was halfway through my first Nuzlocke, and I'm already halfway through my third Nuzlocke, and you are still at Mount Moon.
Yeah, I can't. I like the idea of the challenges and everything, but I don't want to grind to make up for it.
So you're in Ramen, so you have fast forward. I don't have fast forward, okay?
Doesn't matter. It's still slow.
Makes
I played my only Nuzlocke on Y, and I'll tell you what, it was tedious even with all those quality of lives.
Like
I can't wait to get to X and Y where the XP share is great because that thing will be like.
And they give you a lucky egg like right away.
I don't know. I forgot about that. I haven't played X and Y. I haven't played it since it came out. So.
Yeah, the only thing you've trust me, you've blacked out is the beginning is just such a slog because you have all your friends who all want to talk to you, who all want you to do this. And you're like, oh, why do I have so many friends?
X and Y is the one with the monkeys, right?
No, that's black and white.
Black and white. Yeah. That's kind of annoying because, especially for a Nuzlocke, I don't know if that's the only thing that spawns in that area. So if something else spawns in that area, I'm not going to get that monkey I need to be able to beat the first gym. So I might have to grind a lot just for the first gym.
So it's like Gen 1 all over again if you get screwed and get a Charmander.
I got Squirtle, so it made life 1,000 times easier.
Because you got to grind like a mother just to get through the first 2 gens.
I think from the Nuzlocke I had started, I picked Squirtle as well.
I did. Well, I don't pick mine. I do random. So.
Okay.
So far, I've gotten Torchic, which kind of made me sad because that's the only starter I played with in Ruby and Sapphire, so I didn't need a Torchic. I was kind of hoping for one of the other 2. I got a Squirtle, which was fine because I've played with Bulbasaur and Charmander, so Squirtle was the perfect one. And I got a Cyndaquil, which I was really hoping for Totodile because I've already played with Cyndaquil, and Chikorita. So, that's the only bad about random. You're not getting the ones you actually want sometimes.
See, what you need to do is make a team full of starters and try to play the game that way.
I did that, actually. And which one was that? Was that Black and White that I had all the EVs and the starters? Which one had Infernape? That was...
that would have been Diamond and Pearl.
Diamond and Pearl. So Diamond and Pearl, I played through the entire game with literally every single evolution and the 3 starters.
I meant literally nothing but starters.
Oh, that would...
Your
type coverage would kind of...
If you want...
Wouldn't be that great, but you could do it. Like, you could...
Yeah,
there's Water Steel, there's Firefighting. There's
Grass Ghost.
Grass Ghost. There's Fire Psychic. There's Water Dark. You could get a solid type coverage.
Fine.
You just have a lot of weaknesses because...
Or you could have 3 Firefighting.
Or you could have 3 Firefighters. Is there only 3? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
There's Infernape,
Seems a lot
Torch,
more than that, but yeah,
and Embor. Yeah, because here the thing is now they're hybriding every type for like a second. Like, I would love to see a Pokemon game go away from the Fire, Water, Grass and go with like Dark Psychic fighting.
There's a lot of fans who've been asking that, but I just
maybe
don't
we'll
see that
because
happening.
they're talking about making a main game for the Switch.
Supposedly it's supposed to potentially come out this year,
hey,
but they haven't said
maybe
anything.
We'll see it with that. That'd be really cool. If, like, it's a they're already doing into uncharted territory. Let's get the Fire. Like, I think the only other solid trio is like Psychic, Dark fighting. The only problem is Psychic doesn't affect Dark, right?
There's multiple trios throughout the typing.
Like trio, like the full-on 3-way.
Yeah, you can find multiple trios.
Okay.
But kind of get back on we got on a little tangent about Pokemon again. As you can see, we're dedicated Pokemon people here. But Kingdom Hearts 3 in the trailer, they really showed some really cool aspects. The one thing that really has me excited is the Keyblade morphing. So it looks like when you equip your specific Keyblade, you can turn it into a different weapon. And so far we've seen hammer, an axe, and gauntlets, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
So everything's not a gun? I thought everything was a gun.
But yeah, and like the one, they seem pretty cool. The Keyblades we've seen so far was like a cactus with a Woody hat on it with the Toy Story one. I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, I need to watch the trailer again because I wasn't really looking as in depth. I was just too much
I was so...
Oh my god, it's finally happening. Oh, Toy Story. Ooh, Monsters, Inc.
A story for another time, but one of the series I get so OCD obsessive with is Kingdom Hearts. And literally, too, it was a horror story of me and when that thing dropped. So I'm a little obsessive. I look for weird details about anything Kingdom Hearts. And even though the story is the most convoluted mess on this planet, I feel like I know it very well. So,
well, you're going to have to explain it to me at some point because I have no idea what's happening.
Which we will need a day. But the Monster Inc. one looked really cool. It was like a pipe wrench type deal with like a little workman's hat on it and stuff. It looked really cool. And that was the one that like became like a hammer. That one looked really fun.
So it sounds like Keyblades all wear hats now.
Yeah, hats for sure.
So you're going to Team Fortress 2 again.
Hats for days.
I also like the fact that they're going back to like the Sora and Donald and Goofy transforming into the world. Like they showed them as toys, they showed them as monsters and stuff like that. Like they look really cool.
So they did that in every game, didn't? No, they only did that in 2.
Well, they've done that in both games, but it just seems like they're continuing that, and for more than just a few worlds. Like in 2, I think only one new world they changed. No, 2, Tron and the Pride Lands, I believe.
Well, and was Halloween Town in 2?
Yes, but I meant like new worlds that you've got to change into.
Okay.
Yeah, because they didn't change for Mulan.
No.
Tron they did. Pride Lands they did. What were the other? God, it's been so long.
There was Pirates of the Caribbean. They didn't change for that.
No, they didn't.
They stuck out like a sore thumb too. I was trying to think of a new world. The old timey world. Did they change for that? For the Steamboat Willie world?
Yes,
Did they just turn black and white?
Yeah, I think they did. And I feel bad because that might be one of my favorite type changes when they go in the old like 30s style cartoon. I'm trying to think of some other worlds. I don't think they changed for any other worlds, and if so, somebody will let us know, I'm sure. But it just looks very cool. They've already shown some characters from the past and some new characters in the trailer that you're kind of wondering, well, how did you get back? Or how are you, how's this? And if you've played, 3D or some other games, you already know some of these answers. And even if you have, some of these answers you don't know. So there's a couple of returns that are even surprising for people to know.
And even if you played every single game, you might still have no clue what's going on.
Yeah, you're like, I've been playing since 2002 or whenever the first one came out.
2002.
Yeah, and I still have no idea what the hell's
Welcome to the
going
world
on.
of Kingdom Hearts where nothing makes sense.
But look, Disney and Final Fantasy.
And I'm really hoping that they're biding their time here, but I'm really, really hoping that we get at least one Marvel world, one Star Wars world. And if not...
I doubt it.
The thing is, this game has been in development after the buyouts of both companies. So, with them being Disney properties, they should be able to do it. They've proved in 2005, when they made 2, that they're willing to work with brand new properties like Pirates of the Caribbean.
I see maybe a character making a cameo more than an entire world based on them.
Like maybe a summon.
Like a summon or like...
I see.
The one there.
I guess, and the one hint they've shown in the trailer is the gummy ship system is going to work like Star Wars. Is the one thing that they've shown. You actually have like starfighters and you're destroying TIE fighters and looking gumming ships and stuff. And it actually looks like it's playing like Battlefield or Battlefront 2, the original one, like
remake
kind of ship system where you're like going in and out and shooting things and dog fighting and things like that. So like they've shown that and that looks really fun.
Although Keyblade versus lightsaber fights would be pretty dope.
What do you mean? It's going to be a lightsaber Keyblade. You already know.
Yeah. Instead
of the hilt guard, it's just going to little hook on the end there. Got my key lightsaber. But I definitely think we're definitely going to get a Marvel superhero like world, and it's just going to be like you prop down and the Avengers are doing something and you get to help the Avengers. I just see that working out so well. Like, I could even see him doing the Avengers movie storyline with Loki, instead of being Chitauri, being Heartless.
I can see the concept, of course, sounds amazing. But...
especially if they use the artwork and the animations from Disney Infinity.
Right.
So
which another thing that was interesting concept.
Yeah, like it's a cool concept. I don't think it'll happen. At least not this game.
Here, I don't see it. I don't see it happening because
I'm holding out
seems to be
hope.
a bit of a separation still between Disney and the two big buyouts with Marvel and Star Wars. There's not a lot of crossover between them, except for, of course, Disney Infinity, which Disney Infinity was kind of dying originally, and then they dropped all the Marvel stuff and Star Wars stuff, and people got really into it again.
Actually, that's incorrect. Disney Infinity did better every quarter.
Really?
They dropped it because it wasn't doing enough.
Really? That makes literally no sense.
Well, actually, what happened was and actually, Marvel is what killed it. Disney Infinity 1 did so well that they couldn't even keep their figures on the shelf.
Right.
And so they were having like amiibo problems so they overshipped in 2 to the point where they literally, even though they did almost, I think it was like 10 times the numbers for 1, they made so much extra product they lost money on that.
So in other words, they made a dumb decision and they
blamed the studio for it and then scrapped them.
That doesn't make no damn sense. Like,
so basically, that's kind of what happened is they overmade the toys.
That's just so dumb.
Like, yeah, and the sad thing is
figures. Like I ended up buying
I love
the game.
them. I collect
I ended
them.
up buying the base game because it was like $10, and I was like, why not for giggles? And there was 2 figures. I think it was the Anakin and Ahsoka.
Yeah.
I think that's the one I got. And I was like, why not? It's $10. If I never play it, I got 2 figures for $10, I guess. Yeah. But and I've got a lot of the figures. Like, they're just cool little figures. Like, even if I never originally planned to buy the game, and I would still buy figures because they're just little cool collectibles.
And they were very affordable. They were between the $10 and $15 price point.
And then they started dumping them for like.
Yeah, and that's because, like I just said, they overproduced season 2. Season 3 they produced adequately. It seems they tried to right the ship, but they took such a hit with season 2 that Disney decided that you're not as profitable as we'd like you to be, despite the fact that you're doing better every quarter. You are gone.
That makes
that's just Disney's cutthroat style. That's why they're so successful. If you are not doing so much success, doesn't matter if you're successful, they won't keep you around. And then also they have the tarnishing the brand motto, which is any person who knows the ins and outs of Disney knows all about that. Doesn't matter if you're successful. If they believe you're tarnishing the brand of Disney, they will cut you. So
I mean, I can see the tarnishing the brand, but if you're successful,
and that includes financially,
you're getting more successful every quarter. That just, I mean,
well,
I don't know.
the thing, how they saw it being tarnishing to the brand was one of their excuses was the fact that it looked like they were on the shelves too much. So that made it look like Disney was not wanted, Disney was not needed. Thus, it tarnished the brand because it made it look cheap.
Dumb.
But that's kind of another kind of thing. We got sidetracked, but about Kingdom Hearts 3 that looked really, really cool is like you said, it pops so much. It is so colorful, so vibrant. It looks like the worlds are going to be, I'm assuming, huge compared to what they've been in the past. But it just looks such a great game. I cannot state enough how excited I am for it. If we get more trailers that kind of go into it. Now, if we get like a story trailer that kind of gets into spoilers of the story, we won't go into that. But if we get more gameplay trailers that show things like that, we'll go more discussion about that.
Definitely something we'll be talking about as we continue this.
Yeah, especially if we do get a release date at E3, you best believe we'll be talking about it. So, the other thing is Dustin, our guest here, is also a pretty big board game guy. So I know he picked up this huge game known as Gloomhaven, which was a Kickstarter. Kind of briefly go over that because we've said we go over board games, but we haven't really gone over it.
That's because, I mean, besides you play party games, you said, but like I'm the one who plays like the big board games. So, Gloomhaven's a very awesome concept. Like we've not gotten really super deep into it yet. One of my managers from my work is the one who got me into the idea. They put like hundreds and hundreds of hours into this game before they finally finished the game, and it's not like the idea of it. It's almost like a fantasy or like D&D campaign, but in board game style.
It's a living board game.
It's a living board game. You start the concept, like, and you go, this chick offers you money and you're broke. So you go and you, like, do this quest for her, and do a couple quests, and you do those quests, you unlock 2 new quests. And then you go back to town, and you can choose to go to that quest or this quest, which will lead to another quest, which will go to another quest. And you don't know what the story of the game is. You don't know where the game actually goes through. Like, you don't know what you're doing. You're just kind of existing at the moment. And it's a very, very interesting concept. It's one of those games that has like a lot of sealed envelopes and boxes. Like you start with the access of like 6 classes, but there's like 12 different class boxes inside the game, the whole game box. Whole bunch of them. course, we haven't unlocked anything yet because, as I said, we've only played like 2 or 3 times so far, and we're talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours into this game before you like finish it.
Just kind of give a scope how big this box is. Like, give a perspective.
Well,
for
the box is
listeners.
19.6 pounds. I'm very glad I got free shipping on it because that would have been very painful to pay for that shipping. It is about like 8 or 9 inches tall. It's about 2 feet long. Like, it's a big flippin' box. Like,
would you say it's the biggest board game you've ever seen?
Very, quite easily the biggest board game I've ever seen. The only thing closer to that would be Twilight Imperium, which Twilight Imperium is a Risk style game. So there's a lot of pieces to that one, but a lot of the things in this game are like the characters themselves are actual like miniatures, but like the enemies are just like cardboard pop outs that you put on a little base, but like it's like one of the coolest concepts. So this is a thing. There might be little spoilers here. I don't know, but at one point, my managers told me they fought this guy called the Archdemon. Archdemon's like, "Hey, join me," and they said, "Screw you," and they killed him. And there's another mission that shows up later that's like, okay, these demons are going to start attacking the town, and you can choose to either like help the demons apparently, or you can help the people. I don't know why you'd help the demons because it's your town. Don't know, whatever. And
no rules.
He's reading it, and he's like, "Oh wait, we can't do this. Why? Oh, because we killed the Archdemon, so there's no one to lead this. Like, there's actual like world achievements that you happen, and when a world achievement happens, it actually changes the layout of what's happening in the world. Like, you can actually have multiple parties go through the game, and they can like do some of the same missions, but there's certain missions that once they're done, they can never be done again. Like, this mission is done. Like, you killed the Archdemon. The Archdemon doesn't exist anymore. There's something about a Drake, because there's a sticker that says something about a Drake on it. Once you do that one, that thing is done. Like, there's different things you do that literally change the world. Like, you can play with multiple groups, but this particular thing happens, and it's done forever. So
that's really cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. The combat's like a card system instead of like dice. You like flip cards from a deck to get like your bonuses to your attacks and stuff. And
so kind of like Pathfinder the card game.
A little bit. Like, you have cards. You have like a handful of cards, and those are your actions. And then you have like the modifiers. Instead of like rolling a die like you do with the Pathfinder adventure game, you flip cards for like the advantage or disadvantage. Like, there's -1s, there's like +1s, there's like different extra effects you can get. There's a lot of really like interesting concepts to it. I'm really, really excited about it. It just takes a long time to set up, and the one complaint I have is the box is not set up very well for organization. That's why I
will say this, that I did while looking into this game to kind of prepare for what you're going to talk about, that apparently one of the boxes inside the box is meant to put other things inside of it. There's apparently a box in there that, and I forget, there's a certain, like, once you open certain things, they all can fit into that box to make it a little bit easier.
There's no extra boxes.
Okay.
Well, not in mine. And I got the 2.0, I got the 2.0. This is the second Kickstarter, so this is like the advanced version.
Which was supposed to be, the first one sold out. They ran out of print because it did so well. Right. So they did a second one.
They did a second Kickstarter, which they also did a lot of, like, just quality of life changes, little extra things.
And they did it so that if they did sell out again, which they didn't think they would, that they wouldn't have to do another Kickstarter ever again. Right. They'd be able just to resupply themselves. They did it in the way that they financed themselves so they can continually print this game.
Right. Which I missed the Kickstarter, so I actually got a retail copy.
Yeah, so
funny thing is,
they actually sold out.
I got my retail copy before my manager got his upgrade kit. So he ordered an upgrade kit, which just had some of the quality of life differences, and I got my retail copy before he got his Kickstarter upgrade kit.
It tends to happen. Kickstarters, depending on the people, tend to have slow shipping.
Right. But I bought a box organizer. There's a website called Broken Tokens or something like that, where you can buy for like very big board games. There's these little these kits they sell that you organize. It has you put this little thing together. It's made of some sort of press board or something. Not the most expensive wood in the world, but it's got little drawers and shelves and stuff that you can organize all the pieces and stuff, and you don't have just a box full of loose pieces. There's a lot of loose pieces in this. I put a lot of things in baggies because I have all these little pop outs that are just loose.
That makes sense. You gotta keep them organized.
Somewhat.
Well, we'll definitely go more into that as you play, because it sounds very interesting. I want to hear more about it, and I don't know how often we will be able to play with you, so I'll definitely like to hear your adventures more on here. But for that, we're going to kind of close things up for the day, and we're going to move into our last little bit, which is going to be kind of a cast trivia again. If you listen to our last episode, you kind of know that we're doing these little trivia bits, so you can learn a little bit more about each of us. Today we're going to do name a favorite game series, whether that be a board game or a video game, that's up to you. If you pick a video game or board game, pick another one for each, so you have one of both. Pick a specific game instead of a series, and then a character from a game. So, Drewid or Dustin, do either one of you want to go first?
Yeah, sure, I'll go first. So, favorite game series, probably Fire Emblem for video games. Favorite board game, I mean, Cards Against Humanity is always fun to play. As for as for a more traditional board game, hard to say. Like the Pathfinder card games are really fun.
Yeah.
Let's see, for like an actual specific game, Final Fantasy Tactics is my favorite game ever.
Original, advanced, or War of the Lions?
Original and War of the Lions.
I never cared for advanced.
The advanced was solid, but kind of a step in the other direction.
Yeah, it's more of a spin-off. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It's a good game, but it's not the same.
Because Tactics is probably my favorite game. Fire Emblem, though, is overall my favorite series. I've gotten a lot of enjoyment out of that. But yeah, so, and then favorite character from a game? Oh, that is a tough one.
Or just a favorite. It doesn't have to be your favorite.
Like a character I really like from a Fire Emblem series is Hector. You know,
which that is from the first American one, also known as the 7th one in the series.
Yeah. He's not like the main character in that game, but he's one of the main characters. And once you beat the main story, you unlock his version of the story to play through. And he's a really strong character in the game. Has a lot of charisma. I named a cat after him. Just one of my favorite characters.
True dedication in there, guys.
Yeah. So Dustin.
Oh, favorite
series.
Dark Souls is probably one of my favorite games. Like, 3 was not what I wanted from it, honestly. 2 is probably by far my favorite. We got so many hours and hours and hours of enjoyment out of Dark Souls 2. Like, 3 had, some great moments to it, but they took a lot out of it that I just did not like, and one of the things they took out was they did in 2 with a patch where they ruined the caster cleric. Like, clerics just became pointless, and, like, the lightning spells were worthless now. And it's like, oh, caster clerics don't exist, but whatever. So my main character died that day.
Yeah, 2 just had a lot more content than the other games.
They did, and, like, had a lot more freedom of like, what you could do. Like, you could dual-wield anything. That was really cool. Yeah. A lot of, like, interesting concepts.
Yeah. We'll definitely have to have some Dark Souls episodes at some point. So, I mean, maybe you guys can guest star in my Dark Souls playthrough to help kind of comment on everything. But,
sure.
So, favorite board game?
Or a favorite board game. It doesn't
just a board game you enjoy.
Like, I really love the adventure card games. I really wish we'd play through more of Skulls and Shackles. Like, we started it and then we just, haven't touched it since.
It's not going anywhere.
I know. I just would really love to do it again. Like, we all 3 played with 2 other people. We did Rise of the Moonlords, the whole thing.
Yeah, we did the whole thing.
Right, that was fun.
That was a great time.
I'm really loving Gloomhaven right now, but like. Yeah, there's Love Letter and the basic, just like quick card games. Like I love board and card games. I love party games. Like there's not a lot of party video games anymore. Besides Nintendo, no one else does them anymore. But no split screen. Split screen is dying, and it makes me sad, Panda. Then favorite game, like specifically favorite game.
Yeah,
like not your. It's just one of your favorite games. You can. It doesn't have to be your very specific favorite game if you don't want it to be.
I don't really have an answer for that.
That's
like,
okay. You can. That's a good answer.
I'm gonna say I don't really have a specific game that just stands out as like the game I absolutely love. Like
see that, guys? If we're making games, he's looking for you. He's looking for his true love.
It's more about the series for you that have been
great.
Like Pokemon, Dark
Pokemon
Souls.
stands out. Dark Souls stand out. Like Final Fantasy Tactics. I loved Final Fantasy Tactics, even though my
such a great game.
PSPs got stolen both times I played Final Fantasy Tactics. I never actually.
You can actually get War of the Lions on like your phone and tablet now.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm looking really into tempting. Whenever I upgrade my phone plan, I'm looking to get a tablet.
I believe it's under 10 too.
I
isn't it?
might
It's under
actually
$10.
do that.
Is it $9.99?
Something like that. Which they've been putting a lot of the old like Final Fantasy games out on mobile. They look really pretty.
Binding of Isaac, I've always loved those games. They're just fun little like bullet hell kind of like the concept of them are always fun, like the upgrade, like constant upgrading. And yes, I was going to mention Smite, the game that has literally the most hours of any game I've ever played in my entire life. I haven't played it much at all lately. Doesn't help that I have no friends who play it.
Doesn't help that you work third shift and we don't.
Don't start with me. We have days off together. We could play. All right, even if it's like a game or two. What was the other one? Character?
Yeah, just a character from a series that you enjoy.
From a series I really enjoy. Oh, God. Sitting there trying to think of like.
Well, what's the name of some series you like? You like Mass Effect. You like.
I love Mass Effect.
You love. You love.
I always really liked Tali from Mass Effect.
Tali?
Like I always liked her. Not so much in the first. Like the first one, she didn't have a lot of development to her, but like I like how she developed in like the second and then the third game. Like she became more of a character. I always liked the concept, like the kind of like the innocent character, like the innocent girl characters. I always loved those. Those are always like my favorites. But like I like how she like grew up and like the hardships she dealt with, and she ended up like I always played the Paragon, of course, but like in the end she ends up like becoming much stronger for it. I don't know if like in the other side of the story, but like I always like Tali from Mass Effect. I also really like Grunt. Or not Grunt. Rex. No. Yeah, Rex, right?
Rex, yes.
Rex. There's like the Krogans. And honestly, Mass Effect Andromeda, one of the few things I liked about that game, we'll not go into Andromeda, it made me sad. The Krogan in it was really good. I don't remember his name, but like, I'm terrible with names. He was really good. He was like older. He actually like took part in the Krogan War. Like he was that old. And this is off on a tangent again, talking about Mass Effect. One of the main things I really liked about that is the main character was not just he was they always do that. There's always that trope where like this guy's forced into leadership role, but then suddenly he's like the best leader ever. The main character in that game was not the best leader ever. Like he had a lot of like issues with leading. Like at one point, like someone's like he mentioned something and like he was like oh, and that's the plan. Is that a question? No, that's the plan. Like. The dude, like the person did not actually know what they were doing because they were forced into this leadership role, and that was a really good concept to me. Like I like that idea where like, yeah, like almost every other time, like look at the other Mass Effects in general. It's like Shepard's forced into this role of just like saving the world and is just the perfect person at this. This happens a lot in video games. Like, oh, you're not the actual hero. You're like who we have to have at this time, and now suddenly you're the best person at it ever. I like the idea of seeing a character who wasn't perfect.
Seeing that development, really.
Right, like becoming better at the at it as you go along, not just suddenly the perfect leader. But it has nothing to do with what we're talking about. I'm bad at. You're talking about how Breck's bad at tangents. I'm bad at tangents.
All right,
that's okay. You're our guest. We want you.
You answered the question, so
yeah, that's great.
Breck trivia.
Yeah, I'll go. A favorite series of mine. Oh man, there's so many, but I'll go kind of in a different scope. I'll go Mortal Kombat fighting game.
Ooh.
I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan. X came out a few years ago, and I still play it every so often, and I enjoy it so much ever since the reboot of 9.
How do you feel about the Injustice games?
I love the Injustice games. I think they're fantastic. It combines two of my favorite things, superheroes and Mortal Kombat.
Right.
So, I mean, everything about that. I love the Mortal Kombat games. I love everything about them. I love the violence, the gore, the lore, the characters. I love how you can get something very shallow from it if you want, or you can really go in depth and really explore this world that they flesh out in the last 20 or so years. Let's go board game. Dustin talked about it a little briefly, but Love Letter. Absolutely love that game. Super quick game, super quick setup. That's what I love about it. You can knock a game out in 10 minutes. We play it so much over here. We enjoy it. We love all different versions we've played that have a little bit different modified rules. Dustin has an Archer version, which is fantastic. There's a Batman version we play that's really good.
And Druid is always the princess.
And and Druid is always the princess. He always has it. You've heard it here. If you ever play with us, that's the scary part. Druid's always holding the princess. Always.
He's not.
Except for when I'm not.
A favorite game of mine, I guess, kind of hit off with another thing that Druid said is I'm going to pick a Fire Emblem game. My favorite Fire Emblem game in the whole series is Path of Radiance, which would be the 9th game in the series. It features it. The one thing I love about it, it just kind of puts the trope of the series on its head. Instead of you following a lord or a noble, you follow basically a low class, a mercenary band, and you go from there and you get to watch them rise into prominence and actually be important to their world and actually affect like world events when a group of mercenaries, necessarily would not affect it to the degree that they are. Maybe help turn the tide of a battle, but not actually affect a war. I really enjoyed that game. That's definitely my favorite of the whole series. And then a character, let's go Ezio from Assassin's Creed. He's a great character. It's in a rare day and age that a AAA title actually gave him 3 games. And they let him, you actually get to see him from birth to death. And you don't see that in video games very often. And you get to watch him stumble and, eventually become the master assassin that he dies as. And I enjoyed going on that journey with him. I'd say he's probably one of my all-time favorite video game characters. So that's kind of it for me on my
I got
questions.
stuck on Brotherhood.
Brotherhood's a
Like,
fantastic
never made
game.
it through it all the way.
Yeah, the whole series kind of became a slog, but the story was solid. There was just a lot of little stuff in between that
Right,
made
like
it
all the
difficult to get
side,
through.
like I always,
Yeah.
I'm kind of a completionist. I always like to do all the little side missions, all the little collectibles.
I do the same for the most
and
part.
like, considering there's 3 games in a row with Ezio, Brotherhood was the second or third one. Second one. I never got to Revelations.
Brotherhood is, in my opinion, the best one of the Ezio collection. It refines everything of 2. Like 2 refines everything of 1, and then Brotherhood just kind of like polishes it, and it's just the perfect Assassin's Creed game in my opinion. And then Revelations just kind of tries some new mechanics, and it tries to be different, and it's kind of cool to see that. And you get to play Altair again, which is really
It's
fun.
really more of the same, but still
Yeah,
No,
they just add
Revelations.
the hook
Revelations
blade.
is the one I got stuck on. I finished Brotherhood.
Yeah,
Revelations is the one I got stuck on. I got like halfway through
That
it.
makes sense.
and then-
Brotherhood, I feel like, plays really fast.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Revelations is kind of a slog. It's the only one, but it's worth it to see the end.
Something I forgot to mention, or 2 things. One thing I have against the one thing I love Path of Radiance. One thing I have against it, Ike was way too overpowered.
Disagree completely.
It was easier to play through that entire game with just Ike than it was to use any other character. Did you know that? You could play through the entire game on like the hard difficulty with just Ike, and it was
To
that
be
was the
fair,
best way to finish it.
you can play at least 3 different Fire Emblems that exact same style, and it's easier.
The only one I've played the only one I know of, I should say, that you could play with just the main character. Never any support characters, never other characters to help him. Just put him in a map by himself every time, and he'll kill everything by itself.
Yeah.
But
That's the main one that you can do that with.
But Awakening and Fates, you can do that as well.
Fates.
Awakening, you could easily do it because you could just restart levels constantly. But there was no system for that. And
High-end content and Awakening, it's better to play with 1 unit.
well, yes, but that's because you could reset their class, level them back up, reset their class, and get infinite stats.
And that's true in Fates as well. High-end content, it's better to have 1 unit.
I mean,
But
Path of Radiance had no
System for
outside grinding, so it was very much like
Well, they have outside grinding, just not in the grinding sense.
you get the bonus XP, but that's very much a controlled thing.
it's a limited resource.
Yeah, and you can use it to kind of catch characters up, but yeah, so
And I think I forgot to. We didn't mention that I would love to talk about next time the new Soul Calibur that they announced.
Yeah, we talked about it last time.
yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
How dare you?
Yeah.
as more stuff gets announced, we'll talk about it more.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. They did some character trailers recently.
Right, they introduced...
They brought Keelik back as actually Keelik instead of being that weird. Oh, really?
Yeah, because they're basically doing Mortal Kombat 9. They're rebooting the series.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yeah, this takes place from Soul Edge to Soul Calibur 2.
Nifty.
Yep. But yeah, just kind of wrap things up. We're kind of getting a little bit over on time here. It seems to be that's going to be our struggle when we have guests. Is we're going to try to keep things to like that hour format, but when we have guests, probably expect a little bit longer of an episode. We're probably going to be pushing the hour and a half mark. We'll try better, but it's probably is what it is, guys. But that's going to be it for us today. Again, guys, remember to follow us on all social medias. Also, we do have a Patreon that Drewid did remind us of, so please donate if you can. It will go right into the content. Check out Drewid on his Let's Play and also on the Lagcast with Alt. Check out Dustin as Heroth on Twitch. He's doing Subnautica. Hopefully, he'll do some other fun games. You guys can check it out. And then also like, share, subscribe on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Hopefully, we'll get that Reddit page up soon and also get the Twitch some content up. Thank you guys, and it's been a fun time, and don't fix that lag.